Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Just Enough Heshy show. I would like to welcome all of you to a show. We have a lot to talk about. Boomy, how are you? Welcome back.
I am wonderful, and it's always wonderful to be here, Heshy, with
Even though, I'm angry at you about something you did to me. I'm going to talk about that. And my beautiful co-host.
Great, as usual.
No, you were angry at me last week. I don't know. You had that face, and I was scared to say anything to you. You know what I mean?
She was angry at you, and I paid for it. Is that the way it works?
That's the way it works. Linda is killing me. I have a big fight with her. Oh, you're going to hear about it. I have a lot to complain about this week, and I want to talk to you about a lot of things that happened to me personally. So everybody stand back. But this week's show is all about my listeners. I want you to call into the show. I want you to be part of the show. I want to hear what you're saying because everybody's been calling me. I want to hear your voices. And what number are they going to call, Boomy?
718-303-9090.
You're not Boomy. Wow, he just never joins us. Boomy, what's the number?
718-303-9090.
This way you didn't have to squid. So hey, you're wonderful. 718-303-9090. Call in the next 15 minutes. When we finish all of our opening act, we will deal directly with all of our callers, and you will be able to talk to me and ask us any questions. Now, boys, first of all, I want to give a shout out to my Sergeant Peter. How are you, Sergeant?
Sergeant Peter!
Hi, Sarge.
And my granddaughter, Amira Nava.
Hi, Mira Nava. Hi, honey. And gorgeous little thing.
And, of course, my friend Ellie, which whatever, he knows who he is. And, of course, Dominic from Drug Mart.
That's right.
I was one of Dominic's first clients when he opened, 30 years ago, even more. He's such a wonderful man.
He is a doll, and he's my pharmacist.
Yeah.
And he takes care of all of my needs and my mother's needs. And,
he's a good man.
You're in good hands if you go to Dominic.
Well, anyways, as we start the show, we're going to start with the commercials. I just want you to know when I talk, I had a bad week. I went to, it was really bad. I went to a protest. And I was on both sides. I went to the Black Lives Matter protest. I went to the people for the police protest, just, to interview both sides. And they were, of course, screaming. One side, the Black Lives booed me, by the way.
Ooh.
And this other girl, Karen, that took pictures, a wonderful lady. She does a lot of activities, goes to all the protests. I've been taking pictures with her. She's just a wonderful, kind woman. And she welcomes you. And the whole group over there with the police welcomes you. And then as I'm walking from one side to the park to the other, because it was a long walk in Marine Park, my son says, wow, I stopped in the middle and I saw people exercising. And I stopped. I said, look, I'm taking a break from both protests to exercise.
I saw the video.
I think I was exercising for like 4 seconds. Then I gave up. But again, I went to both sides, even though they protested me. And then the chief of police saw me. He says, Heshy, what are you doing? I said, I got to be on both sides. Then I joined right in the middle of the protest. And it was pretty good. And then I took my son to Long Island, Queens, whatever, to a school to interview with him. And instead of him being interviewed, the rabbi saw me and says, oh, Heshy, you're the star for an hour. He interviewed me.
Instead of interviewing your son.
His assistant rabbi went over to my son. He says, you don't have to take the test, you're in. So that's good thing.
You or your son?
I'm not going back to school. But I want you to know, guys, it was a tough week. I had some people, I do a lot of community service, and I like it. That people are calling me with issues morning to night, and we're going to get to this. And I have a lot of things to tell you that I'm going to complain. It's my turn to complain, even though you always hear me complain.
No, you have a right. But before you start complaining,
yeah.
Soya and I would like to thank you and Linda for that wonderful Shabbos lunch that we had by you. It was lovely. Everything was delicious. It was clean.
That's not true.
It was pleasant.
Really
I heard you complaining, Boomy.
What are you talking about?
Not at all. I was very happy with everything.
Didn't you come late?
No,
not at all. As a matter of fact, we came early.
early.
We came before you got home. We were the time you got home, we were sitting and schmoozing with Linda. I was sitting in your chair. It was like sitting in Archie's chair.
He asked Linda, which is your chair?
And she said, that's the one. So I sat in your big chair.
Oh, my God.
And she right away brought me a cold drink. And if it hadn't been Shabbos, she said I would have brought you a cigar as well.
Wow.
But we really had a wonderful, lovely time. We look forward to doing it again in the future.
We had another guest.
That's correct. We did.
You had a packed table.
I always have a lot of people on the Shabbos table. But recently, because of Corona, we only have one guest or maybe a second one. But we never had any. But this week was great. People are starting to come back. I got back into the hospital. I met people. But anyways, we're going to talk about all of our issues and problems. But it was wonderful to have you at the table.
Thank you.
And you ran away so quickly. I wanted to keep you a little longer.
No, well,
we were
did
there
need to
for
get
like
a little bit of a nap, and we were
hours.
quite a
We
few
were there
hours,
for- Are you
actually.
kidding us?
Okay, good. Anyways, we have Chamula Jewelers because we're running out of time. Chamula Jewelers, and you know, Boomy's going to mess it up, everybody. I had to warn you. They're located at 944 Kings Highway, 718-336-1980, 718-336-1980. Chamula Jewelers, a family-owned business for over 40 years, specializing in diamond engagement rings, eternity bands, and diamond jewelry. Or just bring your old jewelry to redesign and freshen up. Chamula Jewelers.
We've got the sparkle for you.
Wow, guys, I am sitting down right now. Well, I'm sitting anyways. This was great. We've got the sparkle for you. I messed up. You see, me, you killed me. 718-336-1980, 718-336-1980. And then, of course, we have
TT Styles, Tahila Tischler. She brings out the beauty in you. Hair, wigs, makeup, weddings, events, and all affairs. 718-675-6842. Tahila at TEETEESTYLES.com.
718-675-6842. My two daughter-in-laws, by the way, they're bothering me. Hey, Pa, you're too helping too many people. You get screwed all the time, and I scream at them. I fight with them, and this week they're right. And that's my problem. So I want you to know I'm apologizing to both my daughter-in-laws
for being too nice and too good.
Yeah, they're right.
I see.
They're right. I know. I'm giving
They're
up.
telling you to be a little bit more selfish. Watch out for Heshy just a little bit more.
It bothers me. That's the problem.
I know. I understand, but we got
to keep going. Technical difficulties. Avi Fleischer. Avi, you owe me a computer, man. Fix it for me, God's sake. 718-259-4593. 718-259-4593. 1504 60th Street. Technical difficulties for all your computer needs. Avi Fleischer. Matter of fact, I was in a store because I broke my phone again. So I had to switch my phone. I lost all my WhatsApps and all my numbers. I know it was terrible rebooting it. While I was in this store, and these are very good guys. They are phone repair guys on 53rd Street. Yoni phone repair. Wonderful guy, 53rd in Utrecht.
Oh, Yoni, I love him.
Love him. He just took me in. He was so good to me.
How long are you using him?
I'm using him for years.
Me also.
He knows Rabbi Fish. We serve all those boxes. He's just a good guy. He took me in. He was nice to me. He tells me to come back. He calls me even that he's closing one over there. I love Yoni. He's just a wonderful guy in the corner of 53rd Street in Utrecht. Go there. The guy knows everything. He can fix everything. He got me up and running in less than 15 minutes. Gave me a temporary phone. Yoni, I love you. You're wonderful. And I told him I'm going to make fun of you because I'm better looking than I am better looking at him.
That's not unusual. That's expected.
I know. You're getting a raise.
Thank you.
That's true. I'm not giving you a raise either. 777 Barbershop, 4225 18th Avenue. Wonderful guy. Look at my haircut. Great. And I didn't pay a lot of money. Very good. 777 Barbershop, 4225 18th Avenue. Yishoma Shabbos, 718-484-2499. 718-484-2499. Located on the corner of East 2nd and 18th Avenue.
And what's more incredible about that haircut is that you hardly even have a gray hair, notwithstanding what a rough life you're leading now.
See how he cuts out all my gray hair? I know. Linda likes it this way. She was at the beauty parlor today trying to match me. We have Green Line Building Solutions. We moved to 202 Forster Avenue. We're parking in the rear. All your violation needs, from fire department, criminal tickets, plans, permits. We get you out of trouble. Matter of fact, we help you with your mortgage brokers. We don't do the mortgage, but when you have all those violations, we help you with the fire department. We help you with the DOF, the HPD, that's the Department of Finance. Anyways, we help you remove all your violations. We help you with plans and permits. 718-871-0382. 718-871-0382. Located at 202 Forster Avenue. Come on in. We have 2 hours of community service. So just call for free questions. Like this week, I had a guy who had problems. He says, I tried to call you months ago. I got screwed with somebody else. I kept him on the phone for an hour, helping him out. I said, go back to your guys. This is what they have to do. This is how you guide them. And I have people calling me. So just call. It's free services. What else do we got there, Sawyer?
Fallon's Place. Beautiful clothing for adults, teens, and children. 3132 Bedford Avenue. FallonsPlace.com. 718-325-5667 or 718-Fallons, Fallons.
I understand they have beautiful clothing for women's
Wonderful.
clothing, right? And the prices are pretty reasonable too, huh?
I never knew she listens to my show. Really, I always make fun of her.
Okay.
And she actually says right after the show, Heshy, I can't believe I got my permits. I said, so you actually listen to the show? Because I really didn't tell her about her permits. She's a good kid. Anyways, we have Wool's Grocery. He called me today, tried to bother me. I hung up on him. because I didn't want him to curse me out. I know he's going to give me advice for the show. He always gives me advice. Hey, you got to behave. You got to say this. You can't talk bad about this. Don't you dare tell anybody you're coloring the streets, because this week I'm really going to color the streets.
Oh, boy.
What colors? How are you coloring the streets?
I'm going to do yellow. I'm going to paint. You're going to see I'm going to pick certain avenues. You're all going to freak out because they keep graffitiing up Mr. De Blasio, Blue, whatever the idiot's name is, and they keep painting it back. He doesn't fix graffiti on other people's buildings. He defunded the graffiti program to get rid of graffiti, but his little stupid
graffiti program. What are you talking about? First of all, when they were charging all the people inside their taxes, they were tagging on, I think, another $400 a year.
So he cut the program out. People are doing it themselves.
They're probably still charging the $400 though.
And plus his street, he's able to paint the middle of the street just like that. Just, you know, not that I care. Why don't we just paint De Blasio as an idiot? Then I agree.
I don't like the way he picked on the Jews. I think we should have Yoily Matters painted in yellow. Yoily Matters.
He's doing such a bad job, and the city council is so lost. So he wanted to, you know, refocus everything. That's why he made everybody fight with each other, thinking that if we fight with each other, he'll come in and help us. Instead, more shootings, more murders. But we'll get to that when we're in a minute.
Heshy, would you consider possibly going back to good old-fashioned red, white, and blue when you pay?
I agree, man. I agree.
You know, I still love America.
I love America,
and I'm kind of hoping. And that's I hope Trump gets reelected and that America stays America.
You know, I'm a fighter for lost causes. You know, and people say, "Hey, Heshy, if you're going to fight for lost causes, you know, just give up because they're lost causes." But that's the beauty. We have to help each other. That's what America's about. No, I'm not going to give up. No, I'm not going to give in. I'm going to keep fighting till the last breath, till the last minute. You know, everybody says to me, "Heshy, you have a great marriage." I said, "No, I don't. I really don't."
You have to work at it.
It's not only work at it. I have a great wife. I have the perfect wife who puts up with all my stupidity. Okay, and
yes, we
fight. Yeah, I know you saw that at the table, right?
That's right. He's finally admitting it.
I'm not finally admitting it. I still think I'm smarter than her, but she is.
Didn't we hear Linda saying something about how cute he is? Something.
Yes, we did.
What did she say?
He's gorgeous. He's so
okay.
Cute.
Shut up, guys. Next, what travel agency do we have?
Traveler's Choice. For all your travel needs. Traveler's Choice.
I'm not up to that part yet.
Okay.
First, tell us a little about Traveler's Choice. Then I'll do my thing.
It's located in New York City. It's run by the lifers.
Joseph and Devoa, lifer, wonderful people, very smart, very good.
You can reach them at 212-868-8698.
But for all your travel needs, let's talk about going to China.
No.
Let's talk about going to Israel when they reopen again. Let's talk about going to Florida, to Miami. Right. Let's talk about going anywhere from Carolina to...
Well, anyways, they're the mavens in travel.
They are the mavens in travel. You don't have to break your head to go on a computer and try to figure it out or look for, you know, the Matthias that you get on, he's on William Shatner's thing, you know.
He's not paying us that much money for this commercial. Let's go.
Joseph L. at travelerschoice.com, 212-868-8698. Traveler's Choice. For all your traveler's needs, Traveler's Choice, your only choice
for travel. 212-868-8698. And then, of course, we have some Prime by Ari located at 5010 16th Avenue. He has just the most delicious steaks and meats and prime rib. I sent Linda over because I usually go. He did a great job for us. Call him at 718-851-0051. If you tell him Heshy Tishler sent you, you get 5% off. 718-851-0051. Or you can send him a WhatsApp and he does free delivery at 718-851-0288. 718-851-0288. And then, of course, we have
attorney Abraham Hoshander, which is Bummy. He does real estate, foreclosures, defense, and all your legal needs. He specializes in foreclosures. You can reach him at 347-435-3402 or HOSCHLAW@yahoo.com and mention the Just Enough Heshy Show and you will get a discount.
Beautiful. And don't forget my friend Joel Goldberg. He has apartments ready to go. He does lead violations, asbestos services. He does apartment turnover, painting, clean outs, fire escapes. Very important these days. You still have those old fire escapes. He gets them to code. Parking garages, cornices. This guy's just great. Joel, JOELG 718 at AOL.com. JOELG 718 at AOL.com. Or call him at 917-577-2867. 917-577-2867. He's licensed and insured. By the way, he has an AOL like me. That's why I like to advertise him, because he's one of my guys. And pretty much, babies, we are done. So we're going to begin our show. You can call into the show 718-303-9090.
I want to hear your saying, followed by your joke of the day.
That's what you're going to get right now, babies. So first, my quote of the day. This quote was sent to me. Remember that girl we had on the show, Nikibla, wonderful girl.
Yes, that young lady. Yes.
I'm still in touch with her. Just a very smart girl. And we're going to take your calls in 2 minutes. But this is my quote of the day. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. You heard that?
That is very, very poignant.
You can't go back. We understand it. You can't change things, but you can start over again and change the ending. And that's very important to us. And that's what we're going to do. Anyways, let me just do my little joke, and then we're going to start our show. Are you ready, guys? You're going to love this joke. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm listening.
So Linda, my beautiful wife, we have a neighbor next door, Mrs. Skolnick, many years ago. She was a widow, an older woman, and Linda always went in to go in and check on her and say hello to her. And so what happened was Linda goes over to my little 9-year-old Yaakov and says, Yaakov, go downstairs and go check on Mrs. Skolnick and see how old Mrs. Skolnick is doing. So Yaakov goes down, comes back up. And he says to my mother, he says to Linda, he says, Mommy, you know, Mrs. Skolnick is very angry at you. She says, why? She says, well, she's doing fine, but she doesn't want you to know how old she is. You know, Linda asked her, go check how old Mrs. So really, he asked her, how old you are, Mrs. Skolnick. Really, he was supposed to check, whatever. Anyways, it was a funny joke when I heard it. Anyways, we're going to take a caller. Hello, caller. You're on this show with Heshy, Boomy, and Sawyer.
Hi.
Hello?
Hi.
Okay, we're not going to talk about them then.
Well, if they're not ready to talk.
They're not ready to talk, or maybe they can't hear
I
us.
want to hear a little bit about
shy.
what happened today specifically that seems to have shot your mood a little bit.
So what happened was, you know, I have people that I take from jail and other people that are having troubles in the field or having issues. We
heard from Linda over Shabbos some of just the small amounts of Gemilas Chasadim, the wonderful things that you do for so many people on a small private level. It's shocking.
You don't have to build that up, but we take people in. And
we don't have to build it up. You build it up. You do.
You know, everybody thinks, oh, Heshy, you're rich, whatever. So somebody had a problem with medicine this week, and I couldn't go and do the medicine. I couldn't even go help him. So he came over to me. He says, Heshy, I need money. So I gave him my credit card, and he went to buy it. It was only $100, whatever. And he comes back, and then my partner calls me up. He says, Heshy, you know, you have $1,500 in charges. So what's going on?
Oh my God.
I said, it's not me. I said, I know what I'm spending on. He says, oh, somebody's using your credit card fraudulently and just doing Western Unions and stuff. And I said, oh,
this was the person you helped
whatever, yeah. And again, I got all depressed, and I'm not going to do calls for. I screamed, of course, I had to give up my credit card and so forth. And then right after that, another person did something bad who lives by us. And I scream and holler at them. But, you know, I said, you had your first chance. You had your second chance. And Linda says, throw them out, throw them out. I said, Linda, we can't put them on the street. It's going to look bad. And just it gets you. And then here's what the worst part of it. You know, last year we had 78 suicides in my neighborhood, young kids. We're already at 91. It's only July. 91. And then I have people calling me now all day long with problems. Heshy, I don't have money for rent. Heshy, I don't have food for the weekend. And, you know, we feed 137 people. I give you that number because it's really what we're holding and we're trying to do. Every other box is another $150 a week. And it's hard. You know, we have to come up with that money every week. And now I have like 50 more requests, and we just can't follow through with it. And I try to get them other organizations. It's so hard. And then, of course, if I decide to run for office, I'm going to have a GoFundMe account. Now you're going to have to donate to me too. It's like never ending. And how much can you ask and beg and give? And sometimes you get tired. And that's what my week was rough with. They're just things hit you. And people are just telling me, like, I have kids who are calling me, I swear to you, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, pick up the phone, 5 in the morning. They have nowhere to go. They don't have jobs, 15, 16-year-old kids. Hello, Heshy. How are you, my delicious friend? There's no way you can blame the gay people for this week. Only de Blasio.
Well, you see what's going on in Israel. Why God made the Corona come back. Because they have been doing all kinds of legal stuff for the gays. And all of a sudden, boom. And now they can't have their parade.
But Heshy,
they were going to make it August 12th.
But Heshy, I disagree with you. In the United States, even though I don't believe the numbers, which I'm going to give you the numbers in the United States on Corona, but Israel only has 300 deaths total. 300 deaths.
No, they're up to 400 and something.
Okay, 400 deaths go per capita. You're talking, it's nothing. And they really did not social distance. Even you think they locked them up. Yeah, you have to lock yourself up. You have to, what is it called again?
Quarantine.
Quarantine.
So 1 second, Heshy, we have the coronavirus because of the gays?
The whole country, all America and Europe, is all falling apart. You know, because that's what the Torah says. You know, let's not
beat
around the bush.
The gay people are less than 1% of the whole world, if that much.
So don't you think God would have just sent a virus that just would have like wiped out the gays just to send a really clear message to us if it was the gays?
No, because we're the ones who are responsible because they have the laws of gay marriage. That was by the politicians. You know, if Heshy would be in power, it'd be a different story.
Right. Well, so then the virus would have gotten the politicians.
But Heshy, even if, you remember back when we were kids, you and me, that a lot of the gay people were in the closet. You know what that meant? They're like, they didn't tell anybody they were gay.
Don't ask, don't tell.
So Heshy, even if you stop the gay marriage and stop the gays, what happens if they're in the closet? You're never going to know what's going on.
Yeah, but the Torah specifically warns about gay marriage. That's why the flood came with Noah. That's in the Medrash. It's not my story.
Well, I assume that you're referring to gays that are out of the closet, are publicly gay, and you're assuming, and you're saying those are the ones that are causing these plagues.
When the thing is, when the government recognizes and makes it legitimate, that's when God's fury comes down. There's no question about it.
But Heshy, Europe has had gay people openly for, I don't know, maybe at least 100, especially England. That was the most, and Paris and Paris and all those European countries. America just accepted it the last 4 or 5 years. So, I mean, you're talking, it took so long till only when America decides to have the gay people marry. I mean, not that.
Well, let me just.
I am not for gay marriage. Get it out of your head. I'm not stopping them. I believe they should have a civil. I can't stop them from their.
No, a civil contract between them if they want for whatever benefits they get from it. That's fine. Holy matrimony does not apply between two men, and it does not apply between two women either.
Very good. Holy matrimony.
That's not holy matrimony. Civil union. Yes.
Very important point. Sheldon Silver ended up in prison because he's the one who started the gay marriage. He let it go in the state, and what happened was the entire country went because New York went.
Wow!
And that's why Hashem punished him, and that's why Hurricane Sandy came and flooded the whole east side.
Heshy, I don't know if you guys are aware. I want to ask you a question, Heshy. Forget about that. Right now, you're talking about Corona gays. I want to ask you a question. The flu, which killed 650,000 people, which for some reason this year didn't kill anybody, only Corona. The flu has a vaccine, and still 650,000 people die a year. Corona, that has no vaccine, only killed 141,000 people. Can you answer me that question? How that's happening? And we're going to have a vaccine soon, anyways. Why is the flu, which more dangerous, has a vaccine? Why didn't God send us the flu? Why doesn't He just keep punishing us with the flu?
Because Corona had another point to it. There wouldn't be any riots if there wouldn't have been Corona. The people were out of work, out of school. They had the time to riot. They were all orchestrated from Shemayim, from heaven, for this purpose, to wake up all the sleeping Jews.
Good. I'm so happy.
In Manhattan.
But you know what? You're telling me because of Corona, we had to quarantine and lock everybody up. So I want to give you a fact that I heard today. Sweden, you know the country of Sweden? It's the only country in Europe that did not quarantine. Now listen to this, Boomy, because
they had no lockdown.
Wait a minute, no lockdown, no store closed. I know you're going to scream at me that Dove wants me to behave myself and he wants me to change and not.
Well, no, I'm not going to say that. But
you told me not
feels that certain things you have to tone.
So I want you to know
a little bit more tone reserved about.
Heshy, I want you to hear this too. Since the peak of Corona in Sweden, they've been going down every single day. Not only that, the coronavirus, 90% of the Swedish people that died were over the age of 70. And some of them over the age of 80. Almost no children died of corona in Sweden. Wait.
But even here in the United States, the majority of those are people that are immunocompromised, like elderly and the sick that have different illnesses. That's not specific to Sweden.
So how did Sweden, that didn't close their stores, didn't do anything? The only thing that Sweden did wrong, and a lot of 50% of their people were nursing home and old age home people that they handled wrong. If per capita, Sweden, by the way, is less than all of Europe, which quarantined and closed down and social distance, which Sweden did not do. Not one restaurant, not one store, not one movie theater went on as regular like everybody else. What Sweden did is wait it out. They knew there was a virus. They knew it burned itself out. I believe on November the 4th, Heshy, after the election, there is no more corona. The Democrats went after Trump with the thing, stop the country, making everybody crazy with this fake Russian thing.
Yes.
Then they shut down the country with the fake budget, not allowing the budget to pass. Then they came up with some more stuff. Now they came up with this corona thing. I'm just telling you, it's just another.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Grasping at straws.
But I wanted to say one more thing. This past Sunday, I had the opportunity to meet those women who painted all the Black Lives Matter.
Wow, I love you.
Where did you meet
I was at the Trump Tower. I was out there.
Okay.
And we offered as much money as they need, you know, for if they're going to be fined or whatever. When
you're a good man. You're a good man, Heshy. I love you.
But I told them they made a mistake. They should never use red paint or blue paint or black paint. They should have used yellow paint, because that would be more difficult. They'd have to first get rid of the yellow paint in order to put something yellow.
Very cute.
They used the wrong color.
Am I hearing this right? Is he supporting the Black Lives Matter movement?
No, he's supporting that they should make the mural on the street. They keep the
they should paint it over.
They paint over it. They keep throwing stuff on there. You don't know that? They're arresting people who keep making damage.
Well, whether I know it or not, I want our audience to hear it.
People are going by already 3 times already. People have thrown paint on the mural in Manhattan, and the police arrest them, but arrest them very nicely, very calmly, and they take them in. They don't cause any fights with them, and these people go in and they're out
in and
right
step
away.
out in the revolving door.
Heshy, you're a good boy, Heshy. I hope you're ready for when I run.
Absolutely, but I'm not so sure if you run, you're going to be limited. You won't be able to do many things.
You
be a limited.
You see, Heshy,
why?
Let me explain to you something. Why? You see, you know that the state assembly has so many assemblymen. You know that the state senators have a lot of them. They all fight. They switch. They don't do anything. In the city council, and let me tell it to you all clearly, there's only 51 of us. We control the mayor's budget. Half of these guys are so scared that the mayor should approve everything that they want, because the mayor, the bottom line, signs it, that they all kiss the mayor's behind and give him whatever he wants.
Right.
So they can get their few little pennies. I am not going to allow it. If I get into office, I'm going to have to make sure I'm going to somehow create a coalition of 10 people, but I'm going to filibuster. And not only that, if you noticed, all the 10 or 15 or 20 new laws that pass constantly, like this week, they made a new law. Listen to this one, and I love Noach there. But the problem is they made a law. They passed a whole legislation that had to go to committee, subcommittee, overcommittee, a subcommittee, committee chairman to get 2 judges that passed away their pension because they didn't file for it. You're talking they wasted hundreds of man hours that just some boss could have just said, listen, give him his stupid pension. But again, this is what our people do. They made a whole set of legislation. They waste hours. They waste time. They sit there to kiss people's behinds. I am not going to allow this. And if they do stuff that I don't like, because I'm not going to wait till the last minute for a law to pass that goes to me, I'm going to get up and go to Brooklyn, go to the Bronx, go to other neighborhoods. I'm going to tell them, listen, people, look what your people are doing. One of 51 people, your councilman is an idiot. Get on the phone and scream at him. I'm going to make sure people are aware. When you watch that city council channel, I'm going to make it lively. I'm going to filibuster. I'm going to have 3 lawyers around me. You know, I'm right now going to be starting an organization working with some very serious developers to attack the DOB. Here's my problem. Every organization in the city of New York, every business had to shut down. You know which organization? Even the DOB filing yesterday, the director of the HPD called me screaming at me that I didn't do the paperwork fast enough. I said, you're shut down. Your paperwork is 6 months behind, and you're talking to me disrespectful. I hung up the phone on the director. I swear to God. My partner was screaming at me, my son. I said, I don't want to work for you no more. I resigned. About 15 minutes later, one of my friends at the inspector says, listen, you got to calm down. You can't scream at the director. I said, I can scream at the director. I can scream at the commissioner. When you treat my people wrong and try to rip my people off, I'm going to put you in your place. I ended up making peace with the director, but they can run, they can work out of their houses. They don't have internet. They don't have computers. They can give us excuses, but we have no choice but to pay our taxes, pay our bills, keep our buildings running, pay out, to do all our chesed organizations are in trouble. And this mayor keeps torturing us. And Heshy, here's the worst part of it. The DOB had inspectors out giving us violations. And I want you to hear this, Heshy. You're going to love this. There's a new set of rules for COVID if you wanted to work. You have to have something called a communication plan. I have no idea what that is, and I've been doing this for 30 years. That means you have to have a plan that anybody who comes in, how you communicated with them, and who they were. You also have to have a plan, listen, and you have to have it on the board sign, a plan of every guy's temperature as they come in and as they go out every hour. Better yet, it gets better. You have to have a plan, a special plan with soap on a construction site that's filthy dirty that says how many times you use the hygiene and how the hot water and alcohol is running. It gets even better. Listen to this one. You need to have a log on how you social distanced. You have another log, a safety plan on how they come in and out of the building. By the time you finish with all these logs and forms, besides the regular logs, nobody has done any work at $32.50 an hour minimum wage for construction.
And what happens if you have a misstep and you don't comply with every little thing? They ticket you. They fine you.
You know how much the fine is for each item? Heshy, would you like to
tell
them? You know, Heshy. Tell me how much.
1,000?
No, Heshy. Tell them, Heshy.
Yeah, you have to hire a logger. That's the
$5,000 for each.
This is not about the soap. This is not about anything. It's only about lining their pockets with money. They don't care about us. They don't care. And you don't remember at the beginning when we were told, stay in your house, stay in your house. But we were getting tickets for alternate side. You're forgetting the first few weeks.
I don't even care.
They didn't do the alternate side.
Stop. Not even alternate side. Garbage tickets when you can't even.
And they're raising taxes, but you can't take rents. Don't take rents from your tenants.
Right.
But we're going to raise the taxes. And by the way, we're only going to raise it just to meet our quota because we have a deficit. Forget about the people that are starving, committing suicide, people that are out of jobs. A third of businesses are not reopening.
Children.
Forget about it. Forget about everything that's going on in the crazy world. The mayor is a selfish bugger. He doesn't care about any of his constituents. He needs to leave, and people need to do things. They can't have Heshy, the park breaker, doing everything on his back, and everybody just sitting back in their summer lounge chairs and doing nothing.
Wow, when Sawyer is crazy. It finally took me like
go and register to vote.
Right.
Because if you don't register to vote, your voice doesn't count.
Anyways, Heshy, I love you. We gotta go.
Right.
She is just wonderful. She is crazy. It took me 2 months to get her to get crazy. Finally, she came out of her shell. You are just wow.
Yeah.
You scare me, Shoya. Heshy, you're great. I love you as always. Thank you for your call.
You know, by the way, the city doesn't want the schools opening up after.
I know. And you know what? 20 pediatricians got on the video saying there's no possible way any kid can get sick. I mean, you're talking 20 different pediatricians saying, go to school. There's no possible way of getting sick. Something is up, Heshy. Something is up.
Heshy, you're going to be the school breaker.
Well, Heshy, that's why I'm running. Thank you, Heshy. I love your call.
Okay.
I just want you to know, sorry, you were great, but I just want you to know, something is up, and here's my problem. Now, I might run. I'm not saying I'm running for sure, and I'm going to maybe think about it after the 9 days is over. It starts now the 9 days.
Yeah, let's let it
So I have my exploratory committee being created already, and we're ready to rock and roll. And I'm going to be going out to make funds. I'm going to be making a couple carnivals that you're all invited. I'm going to be making a carnival in Flatbush and Borough Park, and I don't care if the community board gives me my permit or not. I'm going to call the police, my friends at the 6-6. I'm going to close up 18th Avenue. I'm going to figure out a way not to close down Avenue J, but I'm going to maybe close down one of those dead ends or near
Let's
the
get
park.
it done in Marine Park also.
Right, and I want to make sure that everybody comes out, beautiful little carnivals. It won't cost you more than $10, $15 to buy some food over, but everything else will be for free. You're going to have a great day coming out to my carnivals, and you're going to have a great time. And matter of fact, anything you spend, I'll consider as a donation, so you can tax deductible to my campaign, even though I'm going to be paying for everything. So this is what we're going to do. And now here's my question to you. I was walking to synagogue this weekend, then I was going to the hospital. That's why I was late coming home.
I think you said you also stopped by a certain individual to look in on him, always make sure he has all his needs taken care of, and a lady.
And a lady that I sit down and she makes me eat over there. It was very good. Matter of fact, she had wonderful lox her son made. Just a lox. I don't really eat herring, but wow, it was so great. Me and my son were finishing it up. We always stopped and she doesn't let us leave for like a half hour with the son. Wonderful boy. Matter of fact, I love you, Mr. Wolf, as well, Chaim, my boy. So we were coming back a little late. That's why we were late. And we stopped and we saw a politician on the street. I don't want to say his name. And he stopped me and my son. And my son was arguing with me. He says to me, I promise you, I had a fight with him at the Shabbos table. He says to me, Ta, which is, he calls me Pop. He says, you shouldn't let people into the hospital. If the doctors know better than you, the administrators know better than you, the governor knows better than you, the mayor knows better than you. If they say no, the answer is no. We don't care. I said, but son, what are you talking about? You have to have somebody there when you're sick and dying, because these nurses are not taking. Didn't you hear my show? People are being not taken care of. There's only so much the nurse can do. If you have a family member there, they can help while the nurse is doing other things. And if you need help, they can advise the nurse on your medication and so on.
This was the debate at the Shabbos table, I think.
Right. And me and myself,
yeah.
So as we were walking, we met a politician on the street. And we were talking to the politician, and he stopped me for 20 minutes. I always bump into him. And he says to me, Heshy, you won't believe what happened. My rabbi's daughter got sick. They wouldn't let nobody in to see her for 3 days. She's very sick. She's in the hospital, I don't know, 40, 50 years old. Very holy man, his daughter. He had to make a phone call to get somebody to sit there 24 hours. So Yaakov looks at me. I says, Yaakov, now why is this person allowed to have somebody in the hospital? Because he has a friend that's a high-end politician. We should allow everybody with the same privilege. But nobody came to my debate, and we had 30, 50 people. Why didn't we come out screaming? Why aren't we hollering? But I'm going to make another rally.
Heshy, people also have to be, the hospital has to have a policy where they let somebody in. But people, once you let in, sometimes the problem is that people, you give them a hand, they want a foot. You can't have, 10 people coming in and fearing, like running the place.
It has to be done right. It has to be done in steps and stages and done appropriately. Wait a minute. No. Okay, but now still,
you're stopping me. But I'm going to tell you now. I have been in touch with Hatzolah members that are my friends. Not all of them are my friends because they're all upset because Hatzolah gets so much money from the hospital every time they bring somebody in. Hatzolah has stopped bringing people into Maimonides. And maybe one or two, whatever. I'm telling you now, for the last 21 days, there's been no corona cases brought in. If you bring somebody, not anymore have you put them on a ventilator. Once you say they have corona, there's like a $50,000 budget that this hospital gets between the ventilator and this and that. All you have to do is be tested and say corona. That's the new thing. The money,
and that person becomes a high commodity.
But you guys think that the hospital or that solar and everybody's making. The problem is somebody's paying this from the stimulus, from our taxes, from our money. Remember, we have a budget of $90 billion. $90 billion. I can't even fathom what that is. We have a $9 billion deficit. Do you understand? $9 billion.
So then they shouldn't be paying them $50,000 or $39,000 because they're giving the hospitals, and they're giving not just Maimonides, they're giving other hospitals and other places incentives to lie and to hurt the people.
And they're not helping people. I was fighting with a cousin of mine who has nursing homes and old age homes. And she says, well, Heshy, we're understaffed because we have to make a profit, and it's very hard. I said, you should be overstaffed. And I was screaming, and I'm not talking to her anymore, only because she didn't care about the lives of other people. For her, it was money before people. Money before people is unacceptable. I know, I do things for people, and they take advantage of me. Like this week, I was hurt. Linda's going to kill me. Oh, somebody used your credit card, Heshy. Somebody did something bad in the house. Heshy, it's your fault. Stop it. You know what, sweetheart? That's the way it is. You have to do good. These people are in trouble. Even my partner screams at me, Heshy, you did it once, fine. The second time they screw up. Stop it.
You're right, Heshy, and don't beat yourself up for good things that you've done. God will ultimately reward you in the right way. And as far as the hospital is concerned,
I want other people to join me. The problem is that other people, when they see that they're getting screwed, they back out.
No, people are going to join you because they know it's the right thing to do. They're going to follow you. They're going to do the right thing just as you do. And as Heshy, as far as the hospital is concerned,
go ahead. I know
you guys can, you can both call me a cockeyed optimist or whatever you want to say. But I really, truly believe that now that one of my dear friends, Douglas, is there, and he's a very special person.
Very.
And he's in a position now that he was not in even before. And I think they're going to be positive, a lot of positive changes there now, just under Douglas's leadership.
Well, I want you to know, 718-303-9090. Call into the show, 718-303-9090. Ask us anything. We're all yours to go. Dimitri is going to get to the phones. I know he dropped a couple of calls, but I want to talk about something else.
Yes, please.
I want you to know, I don't get angry at me. I know you do. You're angry at me, Boomy. There was a total of 4 million corona cases in the United States. That's it. That's all they're able to find. And here's your numbers: 141,000 confirmed deaths, 32,000 in New York City. And I just want you to know those numbers, if you proportion it, is less than 1 point something % of the country. Now, but forget it's very bad, but here's my numbers on the 141,000 that died. First of all, out of the 4 million people, you're talking another 3.9 million or 3.8 million got better. So Corona was not wicked like you thought. Number two, as we know, the numbers were fake by 25%. So it's not 141 anymore.
Does it have to be as wicked as I thought?
No.
Not be out, to still be out there and to still exercise caution?
I want to get you. No, I never said you shouldn't caution yourself. I agree with you. But don't trick me. You're trying to play games. If you look at the statistics in Sweden, we're all CNN that Sweden is the worst country, everybody's dying. Happens to be Sweden is the best country that never shut down.
Heshy, how do you explain the sudden spike? Let's put away the punishment of the gays. The spike in Israel. Are they also full of it over there? I mean, there was a big spike in Israel recently because they opened up the beaches. I don't know what caused it, but the spike is there.
The spike is testing, not sickness. There's no sickness. They get tested and they have Corona in their system.
That's not what I heard, but I heard that more people have gotten actually sick.
No, 400 people have died, over 8-something or 9-something million people in the country, plus how many Palestinians? I'm telling you that you're wrong. They're fake newsing you. Out of the 141,000,
I hope I am wrong.
Out of the 141,000 that died through the 390 million Americans that we have, okay, let's clear that number up. 25% is fake numbers. Out of that, another 50% were senior citizens over the 70 and 80. I'm not saying they were going to die anyways, but you know, and I know, when somebody gets pneumonia or the flu, they just mark down Corona. And everybody has Corona in the United States. You just have to burn it out and get it through your system. And no, I haven't heard anybody get it the second time. It's possible to get it, but so far, nobody has told me they got it a second time anywhere in the country. There's no reports. So let's clear that up. So basically, 25% is fake numbers, 50% were senior citizens. So maximum about 35 to 40,000 people actually died from Corona, which, you know what? It's really the flu. Now, I know you have to social distance. I know I hate wearing masks. It's just disgusting. People are walking down the street. That's not the new norm. It's not the new norm. I don't wear masks. Yes, when I go into a store, I have to.
Right. When you go into a store, you don't have to keep it pinned to your face because every minute of the day while you're not,
but you're
spread apart from other people.
But I'm being respectful. In my office, I don't wear masks. Half the people. We have the office manager wearing a mask because she's a nut, and I don't like her anyways. My office manager. My partner, I don't. I know because she's mean
making friends, are we?
Okay, my secretary wears a mask. Okay, but the other people don't wear masks, and I want you to know they're sitting there in my office. Nobody has gotten sick once. And you're right. I tell the pregnant girls to stay away from the public, but only for me and my guys. My son now goes back. First, they tell him not to go to synagogue. Then he goes to synagogue. I went with him to synagogue. Let's take a phone call. I want to hear what people have to say.
Okay, pick it up.
Hello, you're on the air with Heshy, Soy, and Boomy.
Yeah, hi, it's Rifki.
Rifki, shut off your radio, Rifki. Shut off the radio, my darling.
Yeah, no, I'm going into another room because my family's listening.
Go ahead, Rifki.
I'm going to tell you something, Heshy. You're going to be really shocked. But you know me. I'm the one that led you on with the parks. I told you what was going on. It was horrible with the parks. You know when it really got to me about the parks, Shavuos? When the kids had 2 days of not being able to go in a park and the weather was nice, it really got to me. But now I'm going to tell you something, and this is going to be a real shocker to you. I don't think you're going. I give you credit for tackling Maimonides Hospital, but I don't think that there'll be any changes. And this Douglas Jablon, he's been there for years.
Not Rifki, not in the position that he is now.
What kind of position is he in now?
Now he's the senior vice president of Maimonides Hospital.
Okay.
He's recently moved up to one of the very highest positions there.
Now, I want to.
And wait a minute, Rifki, let me interrupt you. I've dealt with Douglas over the last 30 years. Not only has he been
very special,
he takes calls day and night. If you think I do anything good, this guy is out of this world. This man helps people, gets them rooms. You cry to him. The man takes every stupid call, and he takes it serious. That's the problem.
Okay. There were other people there. There was somebody, Fleischer, there in Maimonides years ago. I mean, I know my mother died there in the Maimonides.
So did mine.
And believe
so did mine.
And Sawyer lost both her parents.
I lost both my parents in Maimonides.
I could have sued the hospital. My cousin told me, they made so many mistakes. Look, they found out now this. They gave the wrong medicine. They did this, they that. I said, if I sue the hospital, it's not going to bring my mother back. What do I need this aggravation for? But I'm going to tell you something else.
By the way, Rivki, stop a second. This week, I forgot to tell Soya and Bumi, 14 more deaths. This week, today's Wednesday, 14 more deaths in my monitors. Now, you're right, Rivki, I'm not going to beat my monitors.
From what?
Okay,
every hospital, people die in hospitals.
But I was telling you, 14 more claims of corona, which is not true. It's not possible because there was no corona when they got there.
So we don't really know why these people died.
They marked on the death certificate corona, which is a lie because they didn't come in with corona.
Okay, let me tell you something, Heshy. 30 years ago, when I was giving birth to my children, I live in the heart of Borough Park. When I was giving birth, I was told that the Klosenberger Rebbe, Zecher Tzadik Levracha, told his Hasidim not to go to Maimonides. And the reason he did that, and especially not for having children, and the reason he told them is that the nurses do not treat the women there nicely. I saw, truthfully speaking, I saw that with my mother when my mother was there.
But Rifki, that was 30 years ago.
I did not have my children in Maimonides. I went to Manhattan. It was a very big hassle. I almost had one baby in the tunnel. It was really hard, but I went to Manhattan, and I will tell you that the hospitals in Manhattan, the nurses are they're lovely. They're lovely. In Maimonides, the nurses made fun. A woman from Long Island, she was there with her mother. She says, I heard the nurse referred to my mother as that shorty over there. Go give that shorty over there this and this. So she went over and she told the nurse, my mother was a tall woman years ago. She's just old now, so she's bent and short. But that's not right to call her that. Anyway. The nurses. Now, what did the Klosenberger Rebbe do? He started a hospital in Israel, and he has this stipulation that only to hire from people.
Well,
the only way that Maimonides is going to be successful.
Rivki, we have 150,000 people just in Borough Park. There's no way we're going to hire only Jewish nurses and from nurses.
Not okay. So you can't do the nurses. You're right, but you could give jobs to people of the community to in the hospital.
That is a problem. I know that's a problem with Maimonides. They don't like giving us. I got you.
They should see what's going on.
Anyways, Rivki, we got to get on with the show. Rivki,
one of the things I saw with those nurses were there was terrible anti-Semitism towards people.
I'm going to talk about that. Rivki, thank you for your call. You're wonderful. Have a great week and stay safe. Hello? Now, listen to me, guys. And she's right. De Blasio has caused, we have no anti-Semitism between the blacks and the Jews. But again, de Blasio has caused the trouble when he goes out and says to a piece of the city, you Jews, or you can't have this. And then he allows people to protest. It's not that, everybody's been telling you this over and over and over again. You can see from de Blasio's actions, he has no control of the city. He has lost control of himself. He has no, de Blasio, you should hire me because I'm a proper guy. They've been hiring, right now, we have people that are going to be running for city council. Right now, they have this lady, Amber Adler, very nice girl with 2 children. She doesn't know how to run a business or a thing. She worked for politicians. You have another guy, Saperstein, that is already, for Chaim Deutsche seat, has already announced his candidacy. He's lost twice, has no political savvy, as well as he's never run a business or run men. Like de Blasio.
I have not heard of a single candidate out there that's actually qualified, that knows what to do. Has run a business, made the noise, done anything.
There's another guy who's going to be running for office. Matter of fact, this week I'm trying to help him. My competitor, he was standing in front of his house when some young black guy with a hoodie came to him with a bat, smacked him in the mouth. Listen to the Sawyer, broke a couple of his teeth, ran away, and nobody cares, and they're not even calling it a hate crime because it happened in our neighborhood. Now in Borough Park, this would never happen because me and my Sherman Mashmira boys, we're patrolling our streets and nobody's touching us. Flatbush, who's under Chaim Deutsche's care, who his people have to be more vigilant, even though they came out, but you got to be more on top of your game, and I'm on top of my game. Now I hear again, the guy who owns this radio station, Mr. Davidson, he's considering running. Now he's a very nice man, a billionaire, but he's never really...
What are his qualifications?
Right, so I've been been part of many organizations. I fight the city daily. I'm part of the jail system that helps people come home. I've done care. I help feed the poor. I'm not pitching you guys. Don't get me right.
No, we do need you. We need people like you.
But I want you, the guys who come out, because half of your politicians in the city council are running a $90 billion budget, and they have no idea what budget means between audits and systems. You're right. I'm not going to play the red tape game. I'm going to fight you on a daily basis, city. I'm going to scream and holler. But again, our politicians take a picture and you guys come out there. I want you to register to vote.
And as far as the Jewish community is concerned, there is no unification of leadership. Since Dove retired, there is no unification of leadership. Nobody to look up to, nobody to go to, nobody a leader. You are in a position to be that person.
You know what? And I'm hoping to be Chaim Deutsch's successor if I announce. But again, Chaim Deutsch wants to put out a candidate, so he's done. I heard there's a young girl that wants to run now who has no qualifications, but yes, she did work for Dove. That's not a qualification working for Dove. You have to lead and run and be part of the city and get yourself dirty and speak to the people.
Absolutely.
These guys don't call, but I have people who called me this week. He said, Heshy, I called my councilman. I called my thing. Matter of fact, the guy who was beaten up, who's going to be running for city council, tells me he called the councilman, he called the assemblyman, and nobody called him back.
Heshy, you take everybody's calls.
I do. You see that all day long.
I know. You give out your number to people.
And I do. I'm not scared. And here's my worst issue of all of you people. Get out there and register. You know, Simcha Felder, which I really don't. I'm not a fan of his. He's going to be the state senator. He's running for election. He ran uncontested. I am not running for state senator, and we're going to take a call. When you go there, you're allowed to write in a name and a vote. Write my name in just to piss him off. Hello, you're on the air with Heshy, Sawyer, and Boomy.
Heshy, how are you?
Hello, my brother. How are you? We haven't heard from you in a long time.
Yes. I just want to make an observation. I don't live in the Brooklyn community, but I do spend a lot of time here, business. And what I do find and I observe is that
we can't hear you so well. You got to talk into the phone.
I'm sorry. What I'm observing in the community is that very few people are observing the mask and the social distancing, especially in the Borough Park community. And I find that the only people wearing the masks are usually the workers behind the counters or the people just working in the community itself, as opposed to the people that live there. I find that to be a little disturbing because we're supposed to be representing to do the things that are right.
So let me answer you right now. I understood when we started this corona stuff, the people in the community did wear masks. We handed out masks. We gave people masks who are not Jewish. Let me tell you right now, my dear friend, this corona is in a way almost over. If you want to wear the mask, be my guest. But I want you to know there are camps that are open all over upstate. Ha ha, Mr. Governor, kiss my fat behind. I know because I opened up a few. I've been now to day camps. For some reason, day camps are open, and I even broke out, helping break out a color war. And you're telling me that nobody's getting sick. Let me keep going. Bungalow colonies are open. I haven't heard anybody sick. Let me keep going. Department of Buildings. Not one inspector has reported sick. Would you like me to keep going, my son? And I'll keep going because those guys don't wear masks. And I'm going to go right down the list of stuff that I'm upset about. And I want to just finish one more thing. Besides camps, besides restaurants that I've eaten, I'm getting wind again. I've eaten in 10 different restaurants that have inside and outside. And I'm talking I went to Long Island with my son. I'm talking I went to Jersey. My sister-in-law is so corona vigilant and won't go out and won't let her kids go out. She went out when she had a birthday and anniversary. She went to a crowded restaurant. Yeah, with social distancing. Oh, come on. You're sitting on a table where the people spray a little Windex and wipe off the coronavirus. You think you're not going to touch it and get it? We were told that corona gets spread by touching. We were told that corona stays in the air for 3 hours. So when you're eating in a restaurant, you're breathing outside. Whatever you want to tell me, corona has burned itself out. And you're right. I'm not going to where my synagogue's open, my restaurants open, my stores open. In 3 weeks, not one patient has been brought in to the local hospital with corona.
Heshy, you have a platform. You're doing a tremendous disservice to the community by promulgating this myth that the virus is gone. It's far from gone.
It's never gone. You're making a mistake. I never said it's gone. Cancer is not gone. AIDS is not gone. Flu is not gone. You can get the flu in the summer. I'm just telling you, my life is not going to end. You're not going to close my city down again. There's nothing you can do about quarantine. Wait, you're arguing with me. Quarantining did not work.
I don't agree with that either. I don't think you need to quarantine in order to take precautions. You could actually run a business and use precautions to mitigate the virus.
So let me ask you a question. My doctor, I hurt my hand. I'm very much in pain. And my wife has been putting on this blue ice on me. I really can't lift my hand up high because I hurt it. So I went to my doctor. He made me take off my shirt and he was touching me with his gloves, standing near me, even with his mask. You're telling me that if I had the corona, he wasn't going to catch it?
Robert, listen. All I'm saying to you is you're doing a disservice because we know, as coming from the Jewish community, that the Pikuach Nefesh is more important than Shabbos.
But you're blaming the Jewish community.
I'm not.
Wait. I was with Chinese people today that was helping out, and they wore a mask, big deal, but they didn't wear gloves. Wait a minute. A lot of people, if you go to Harlem, come with me to Harlem in the black community, half of them are not wearing masks, especially all those 40-something shootings and the 10 shootings that happened the other day.
I agree. Those people should be wearing.
So it's not the Jewish community. It's the black community. It's the Spanish community.
It is a highly contagious virus. And they don't have a vaccine yet, and hopefully they will get one.
But they have a vaccine. Woman, they have a vaccine for the flu. We still have 650.
But if you promulgate this myth that it's gone, there are people that listen to your show.
I'm not telling anybody it's gone. What I'm telling you is you can be, and I told it to Bumi in the beginning of the show, be precautious. Wear your mask, wear your gloves, quarantine. I don't care. Do it. But I'm telling you now that I don't have to do it. Stay away from me. But I'm just telling you right now, be careful. Nobody's telling you not to be careful. I take 2 showers a day. I am nervous of corona. I don't want to get sick. I do wash my hands I'm never OCD. This is the first time I actually wash my hands 8-10 times a day with that stupid soap, and because I go to job sites.
That's because I have continued to advocate for precautions.
Always.
By the way, Heshy,
woman, in the wintertime, I wear 2 sweaters, a sweatshirt, underpants. Those long johns. I'm not even finished with that. I go right down the list, and I'm telling you, I'm scared of getting a sickness in the cold because if I go home and I take a shower, I'll get sick.
Actually, you wearing a mask is not only protecting you, but it's protecting your neighbor.
No.
And you promulgating to the people out there that it's gone, you're giving false hope.
So wear a mask. Nobody's telling you not to wear a mask.
But people listen to you. Some people actually respect you.
Woman, at home, I'm not wearing a mask.
You don't have to wear a mask.
Wait. So my granddaughter that I first is going now to school with people does not wear a mask. She now comes home because she can't get affected by it, but she's carrying the corona. She comes home and visits grandpa or Big H. So that's
very dangerous.
So that's foolish because that is not true. Because then all those kids that are playing on the street still, that don't have camps, that don't have jobs, they're spreading the disease at home.
It's a greater risk actually to you, Heshy, than it is to your granddaughter. I'm sorry.
Who basically has his son in a camp. The entire camp got infected with this virus.
Which camp? No, I have not.
I'm not going to mention the camp, but I'm just telling you it's still out there, and kids can get it, and kids can spread it.
No, I was told. You heard the 10 pediatricians that said it's impossible and open the schools. No kid could spread that. The chances of a child getting corona and spreading it is like getting hit by lightning.
At what age? A 15-year-old, they can get it and they can spread it.
I love you. We're coming to the end of the show. I love you. I thank you for your call. I just want you to know. Now, he's right. I'm not telling, and Boomy, you're right. I'm not telling you guys not to be careful of corona. You know, I'm not feeling well because I was standing in the rain 2 weeks ago. One of my clients made me stand in the rain. Menashe, I hate you. Made me screaming at him. We made me stand in the rain. Then I made me come back in the rain. I got in the car with the air conditioner. I broke my own rule, which I should have shut it off. He made me come back out, got back home, went to a cold house. Of course I'm not feeling well. Of course I got an earache. Of course I had to lay down. You have to be careful. You know, don't put those air conditioners on. Go take a shower. Yes, when you're going to a department store, wear the mask, but you know what? You're touching the fruit. You're touching the vegetables. I don't even know how you can avoid corona anywhere.
That's why you're told to wash your hands frequently.
But once you have the corona, it spreads. It goes through the skin.
Not necessarily.
Be as cautious as you can be, but we need to reopen up all the businesses because I hear that a third of them are not reopening.
I mean, you're talking this
That's
corona.
probably the bottom line.
You think corona is killing people? People are committing suicide. People are calling me every day. Heshy, I want to go back to jail. Heshy, I want to kill myself. Heshy, it doesn't pay for me to wake up tomorrow morning.
They lost their
lives, jobs. Their wives are leaving them. They're fighting with each other. Children, 91 suicide. I'm not talking you, me, and adults. I'm talking 91 now. I just had a boy who died that I know of, 18 years old.
Teenagers.
I'm broken. I can't. These people are lost. Anyways, we're coming to the end of the show. Boomy, thank you. You're a great show. So you're great. My listeners are great. Thank you, all my advertisers and sponsors. You've just been great. I want you all to come back next week, Wednesday. Listen to my show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Guys, get onto the voting list. Senator Felder is running for senator, unopposed. All you have to do is go to the polls.
Write Heshy's name in there.
Write in anybody's name, but not him. He is not I'm pissed at him for doing nothing. Thank you, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
And by the way, next week I'm going to have a funny video for our show like Chaim Deutsch, who actually, that's what he's now, a new radio show host instead of a councilman.
The preceding program is a paid advertisement. The opinions and views expressed therein do not necessarily reflect those of AM 620 WSNR or its management.
This is AM 620 WSNR, Jersey City.